And we are live. So, welcome to episode 185 of the American Werewolf in New Jersey. I am the American Werewolf. In the house tonight, we've got John K. Alvarez. He's still a number one, but he's also AKA Boron, the fifth element. We've got Eric from Hey Internet. Eric here. What's happening, man? Sorry we didn't get a chance to see you yesterday.
That's okay, dude. Glad to be here tonight.
Yeah. And we've got D. Ryan Daly. Coming back to hang out a little bit and shoot the shit. So, I feel like I should start off the conversation because I almost don't feel like doing this today. No. In light of what happened today in the world, the possible disclosure of proof of extraterrestrial life. That's exactly what I've been hearing people say, all day. They've been snickering and looking at,
I haven't read.
I'm a believer.
It's just, it's weird. It's like possibly the greatest discovery in the history of mankind was announced today, if it's true.
I haven't heard anything.
If it's true. Intelligence officials testified in front of Congress today.
Yeah.
But then some people said it was a distraction. So who knows? I mean,
it can't be a distraction because nobody seems to have paid attention to it.
Yeah.
Because all anybody talked about all day was Hunter Biden.
Yeah.
And so the idea that, yes, there's confirmed proof of extraterrestrial life. The U.S. government does have a crashed or several crashed vehicles, UFOs, and disclosure of an alien biologic in our custody. And it just, just went right over everyone's fucking head today. And I'm just like, what the fuck does it take? It's one thing if you don't. It's one thing if you don't believe it. That's fine.
Right.
I'm not saying that everybody has to believe it, but that it hasn't even generated any discussion. And so I saw this meme pop up today, and I just put it up on Facebook and on Twitter with the kind of heading that I've been talking about, and it's just kind of this.
Yeah.
We are so fucking self-absorbed.
Yeah.
Right.
And you're just like, well, I got to do this today and I got to do that. And you're just like, I don't even know where to start.
Well, I'm
not. It's like, whether it's somebody, because their new Taylor Swift album is dropped, or I got to keep arguing about Marvel and DC, or some horror movie, or, politics and Hunter Biden, or, hey, man, like that guy, I got a lot going on today. I'm like, what the? It's just, it's disheartening.
Yeah. Well, I honestly think, Mike, and I agree with you, because I actually saw some of the hearing today.
Yeah, I saw a little bit of it. I didn't get a chance to see it all.
But I think it's going to take, like, the day the Earth stood still type effect, or Rod Serling type effect, where the aliens show up, walk into.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah.
I think it's because then they might look up from their cell phone and go, oh shit, look at that, and try to take a selfie with it.
We are so fucking self-absorbed as a society.
Yep.
And just like I doubt anybody even pulled up their earbuds,
I think too, with a lot of people in this society, this guy's. I didn't watch any of the hearing. Michelle told me a little bit about it, but in this
Michelle
case,
to be paying attention.
If it is true, maybe this guy should. I guess they can't show pictures. Maybe he should show some actual solid proof. I mean, just for the naysayers, you know what I mean?
No. I get it, because it is easily interpreted as hearsay.
I mean, this guy could be lying under oath.
He could be lying under oath. He said he would provide more names. But it's not, again, what I'm saying is, you're not required to believe.
I get it, yeah. It's not a big shocker.
It's not even a discussion.
But you know what?
I think you watch the news and all. Well, hold on. I'm watching the news today. The whole fucking day is just nothing but Hunter Biden and his plea deal.
Right. And then a very small smaller section, Sinead O'Connor.
Yeah.
Sinead O'Connor.
Yeah.
So someone did pass today. That matters.
Yeah.
And I think that was the aliens that took her out so we wouldn't talk about it.
I think with the alien thing, though, is who knows? A lot of people might not be surprised. I mean, they've always had the Roswell theories and all that shit going on for years. So a lot of people probably already figured the government's hiding something. I mean,
it's like that argument from Contact. You got billions of planets in this galaxy and then billions of galaxies. To say that, like, it would truly be like a depressing thing to find out that we were like the only intelligent life in the universe.
I think it would be cool as hell if there was like some other life out there.
It would give me a little bit of hope.
Yeah,
I don't know, man. I mean. They could be watching and saying, it's like a block full of horrible children. It's like Santa Claus is going to pass this fucking block for decades.
There's a reason. There's a reason why they're not visiting us. Have you seen the current generation? I don't blame them.
Yeah,
there was
one bit.
There was a show that Dennis Miller used to do called Dennis Miller Live on HBO.
Mm-hmm.
He had John Lithgow on when he was doing Third Rock from the Sun.
Yeah.
Okay.
And his rant was about UFOs. And he asked John Lithgow, and John Lithgow.
You got Eric drinking.
John Lithgow
already.
We're driving Eric to drink.
Lithgow.
We're talking about today's society, man. I have to cope. Come on.
John Lithgow goes, I do think aliens have visited, but I think they visited the same way we stopped at a rest stop on the Parkway.
Yeah.
Don't touch anything.
We're getting the hell out of here. We're not, we're going somewhere else. We're like,
don't sit on the toilet. Don't touch anything.
Yeah,
just get back in the car. Yeah.
Well, do you remember what was it, a couple of years ago when those people were going to try to storm Area 51?
Area 51.
Remember that? They were awesome. They were having like big party outside.
But remember, they were just like, don't fucking do it.
Yeah.
The government came out and said, like, don't fucking, they're not fucking around.
Yeah,
I heard a news report, or it was actually Dennis Miller saying, they don't let you into Area 51, but I bet you they don't let you into Area 1 through 50 either.
Yeah, that's true.
Probably not. But
it's just, I agree. No one's talking about it.
It's such a secularized society. Like the idea of anything transcendent, people just look at you like you're, like I don't know what, I don't know, but I'm just like. It's just.
Now, did he in the hearing? Did he specifically come out and say they have a body of an alien?
Yeah, he said there were certain things he couldn't say in an open hearing.
Okay.
But he would be willing to provide names for people who would be for testifying, as well as people who would be aggressively resistant to testifying. He would be happy to share those names with the committee after. The session was over with. He'd be happy to share names to continue.
And they won't share that info with us. They'll never share any of that info with us. I mean,
I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know. I feel like we're on, like, society on the whole is just on the verge of something.
Right.
Just like we'll never ever still find out after all that freedom of information, all that bullshit. We'll still never find out who killed Kennedy. Mm-hmm. I mean, all those records, all those documents are released, but they're redacted to all hell.
Yeah.
Because, so you could look up national stuff on National Archives about this alien shit, and it's all redacted. It'll never be 100%.
I remember. Go ahead, Mike. No, go ahead.
No. I've been following this in periphery, and Tad, like with some of the Rogan podcasts, where he's had like Air Force pilots. Honorably discharged, who talk about their encounters, seeing these things, so on and so forth, like it's Rogan, so it could be, a 2 or 3 hour conversation. He's been following this in periphery. I've sort of been following that and a couple of other things, and it's just, I as bad as I feel about Mitch McConnell having that seizure today, I'm just like, this might be the greatest thing in the history of
maybe the aliens.
Can we talk about it?
Mike, the reason why is with this generation, you're not going to get that many hits on TikTok talking about extraterrestrial life.
You can't do a TikTok dance
unless an alien comes out and does the Ice Cube challenge.
Yeah, and like I said, I'm not even. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Or the Tide Pod challenge.
Yeah,
or
that's the only one I can think of was the Ice Cube
challenge.
The Tide Pod challenge. I forgot about that.
They probably do the Tide Pod.
And that's the thing. That's another reason why the aliens wouldn't want to visit us. We are the dumbest civilization out there. I mean, look at it.
Yeah.
I'll get on my soapbox and stuff like that. Everyone wants to talk about, let's not follow this politician. Let's not follow that politician because they're bad. This is the generation that's fucking eating Tide Pods. So what does it matter who we follow? Because we're fucked no matter what.
And the aliens probably drink whisk. So
you know what I mean?
Yeah. What the coolest thing though, I think what I've been following kind of peripherally is all that stuff they've been finding on Mars. Like it's awesome. Like all the evidence of rivers that were once there and dried up water.
There was life. There was life on Mars. Yeah,
I think
Bowie.
I remember when I was taking care of my dad and they were shooting back the first images of Mars.
Yeah.
When my dad, who was sick as hell at the time, I'm like, "Do you want to go to bed?" And he's like, "Nope." He wanted to stay up. He's the one that instilled me into it. That he believes that there's something out there.
I'm no fan of Jeff Bezos, but I remember that thing that he did like 2 summers ago, where he went into space and landed the ship again in 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And I remember watching that on YouTube. I'm like, this is so fucking cool.
Yeah.
Right. It just, it feels like we're at some sort of crescendo point, like we're either going to evolve or I don't believe this is going to happen. It's all just going to go in the shitter. I personally don't believe that. I think we are on the verge of
something better.
Something better. And so there's this conflict going on. We're just on the verge. And I don't know. I'm 54, so I don't know if it's going to happen in my lifetime. But it feels like we're just about there. And then the next step is going to occur.
I remember there was a guy.
You got to shake people out of this fucking apathy, man.
And I remember 2 years ago. Or roughly about 2 years ago, when they were talking about like a little blip on a screen that Air Force guys were talking about, all of a sudden it was turning sharp. And when the official report came out and the guy said from the Air Force, we don't know what that is.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait, what? And then they were dropping the hint because they don't call them UFOs anymore. They call them what?
UAVs or something like that? Unmanned aerial vehicles. I think it's UAVs.
But that's why they're calling them that, because they were saying we don't know what that is. And it was kind of dropped the hint. Could you let us try to figure it out? But I remember hearing that on the news and literally turning around and looking at the television because it was just in the background. I went, what did you just say?
It's just that it's such a polarized society, at least in this country, and I think in a lot of the Western world, everything is so fucking polarized that's all anybody ever talked about was Hunter Biden's plea deal all day.
I know.
Like I give a fuck, but not that much. Not that much. Can we 10 minutes, 15 minutes?
Well, talking about
we're doing it now, so thank you for indulging me with that.
And talking about space and aliens, this is a good time to start the Fifth Element.
Exactly.
And we've had technical difficulties tonight, and unfortunately, Ryan won't be joining us for the rest of the fucking show. I'm sorry, were you saying something?
That Wi-Fi, man, you got to be careful.
Yeah, the Wi-Fi, man. It's just, it just conks out on you.
I thought it would be a good segue into Fifth Element. That's all.
So,
lost him again.
I mean, it just keeps happening, and I don't know exactly what the
there it is
technical snafu is here, but I guess we can talk about the movie. It just feels fucking trite. Like on the day that possibly the biggest discovery in humanity is disclosed, people are going to ask, "What did I do?" Well, I talked about the Fifth Element. It's fucking embarrassing. Technically, I'm on my own fucking horse here, so I can't ask everybody else to saddle up.
No, I'm with you on this. I can sit there and talk about aliens coming here because I truly believe it happened. I mean, Christ, Carter even saw one back in the 60s. He was even talking about that. He believes in it. And that guy
Who, the president, Jimmy
Carter?
Carter?
Jimmy Carter,
saw an alien.
A UFO.
Or said he saw a UFO
Yeah.
in the 1960s, late 50s, early. He swears to God he saw one, and
Jeez.
you know, and he's infatuated with the idea. Now, this is also a religious man.
Yeah.
But he's infatuated with the idea that there's something else out there.
Well, yeah, you probably would be a bit more open to the idea of something bigger, as opposed to nowadays. That's not a popular take. You know, this is all that there is, and it's just us out here, and you're like, no wonder you're fucking miserable. All right,
I hope not, because.
Yeah, I know that would be fucking bleak. Yeah, there'd be like 3 people. Yeah,
it'd be depressing. Yeah,
or it'd be like
depressing.
Yeah.
What's the point?
It would be wild. I mean, I don't know if it's ever going to happen in our lifetimes with the aliens visiting here or whatever, but we can only hope it doesn't end up like Mars attacks or something. Where they're hostile or something, because then that's it. So
that's entire. Yeah, I mean, we don't understand much outside of like 3 or 4 planets. Like,
if
we
they're
don't know
going
what
to be
happens
hostile,
outside of the solar system.
If they're going to be hostile, let them go to North Korea first. Blow that off the map.
Isn't Elon saying that he wants to try to get to Mars like within the next 5 or so years, like thing,
get
5 or 10?
Mars. Yeah,
I
think so.
It's probably not smart to bet against him.
Meanwhile, I'm watching The Martian.
Yeah,
I'll tell you what. Is that the one with Matt Damon?
Yeah,
that's a good movie. That's a good movie.
Very good movie.
Is that really
I watch it a lot, and it makes me laugh at times too.
But is that really like sustainable to live like that forever? I mean,
well, I don't know if he was going to live forever, but he was able to hold out for a year.
No, but I'm talking about like in Elon's case. It's like a one-way trip to Mars. So, like,
you're talking about planet transformation too.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing.
Yeah,
How you get the oxygen and like all that? Like that's
Yeah, I mean that's what there. People have Carl Sagan dreamed about it. He wrote the book. He wrote the book Contact that the movie was based on. But
that's such a great movie.
He dreamed about it a lot. That there must.
You guys going ahead. I'll be back in a second. I forgot something. I'll be right back.
I
don't know. It's
an interesting concept, and I think it's kind of funny because now that Mike's not here, he won't delete me off. But you can
smart man.
There is a tie-in with the Fifth Element because everybody in the Fifth Element was self-absorbed too, as this thing was hurtling the Earth to kill us.
Yeah,
or wipe out the race. It was funny.
Yeah,
you look at Ruby Red, or what's his name, the DJ,
Ruby Rod. Yeah,
Ruby Rod.
Oh yeah.
He was incredibly self-absorbed. Until the aliens came walking through the front door.
Well, it's like I mentioned, when I said the thing about, you can't get any hits on TikTok. That's all he's all about. He's all about, people tuning in for ratings and clicks and stuff like that.
It's the greatest show ever. But but that's the point. It's, I think it might, if something like that happened, I would hope, though I'm the pessimist in me saying it wouldn't happen, but I truly would hope that they would put down the goddamn cell phone and look up.
Yeah.
What are we talking about?
I think we're too far gone.
Showed up. We were talking about the self-absorbed thing that you were talking about.
Oh, yeah.
And the thing about it is, it's like, I turned around and felt, I truly believe, I really do think it would take somebody to come down.
You would have to shake everyone, shock everyone out of their apathy. Yeah. I love that.
If somebody was at that meeting today and ripped off his face, I actually probably would have laughed.
Well, what would have happened is if someone ripped off their face and showed the alien underneath, everyone would be busy taking selfies and actually doing anything productive. Yeah, that's
Didn't you also hear the big news? Biden announced that we cured cancer somehow. So that was big too. Nobody bat an eye.
I think he misread something in his speech.
I know.
I mean, I love that one meme where it's this photograph of everybody and it's like a parade, and everybody's taking streaming it or video recording or photographing it, and there's just one old lady who's actually looking at it. Like she's actually I'm just looking. I don't need my phone in front of me to enjoy this. One of my favorite lines in all of cinema. Comes from Mira Nair's The Namesake, and it's with the late Irfan Khan, and it's the last scene in the movie, and he's remembering the boy is remembering his father from when he was a small boy, taking him to Coney Island, and his mother is out there like in the back, and she's like, "Don't go too far, I'm worried, this, that, and the other." And so he takes his son and he's taking him out to the rocks in Coney Island, and the father goes, "Oh, we forgot the camera." He left it with the mother back there, and he looks at it. It's so far back. He's like, "We're not going back," and he just looks at his son and he goes, "We'll just have to remember it."
Right.
That's cool.
I guess we'll just have to remember it. And it's one of my favorite lines in all of film. But yeah, I mean, we'll see. Maybe more will be revealed. But I want to say for at least a short period, we discussed this and tried to
at least somebody said it out.
Have some conversation about it because it deserves to be talked about. It could be bullshit. It could be complete bullshit. I understand why people are cynical of anything that the government says. I get it. But if you're going to talk about Hunter Biden's whatever today, we can spend an equal amount of time, or at least, some time, I'd say equal amount of time, maybe more time, talking about whether or not this is true.
Exactly.
Michael, I honestly sat here, it just popped in my head. A few days ago, I was having conversations with a very young woman who believed in angels.
Oh, okay.
And I turned around and said, I have nothing against that. Who knows? I couldn't tell. Maybe with some of the stuff that happened in my life where I was nearly killed several times, I think I got an angel on my shoulder pulling me out of the way every now and then.
But they say God protects drunks, so I remember me through my 20s, and I was like, okay.
There you go. But I remember sitting there thinking, and I said, well, what about aliens? And she's like, well, I don't believe that. And I went, wait, you're going to believe in angels?
That's for stupid people.
Yeah. Like, you're not going to believe in aliens? I mean, come on now. That's stupid. I'm like,
it's always fun to, it's funny too, because when they announced this thing about the alien and stuff, guy at the hearing today, I wish someone would have asked him. I guess they can't divulge any information, but you wonder, okay, what does it look like? Is it the classic?
Yeah, they can't. They said they couldn't do. I think they said they couldn't do that in the open session.
Yeah,
open session, which I understand is very convenient. It could appear to be very convenient. I get it.
Yeah.
But could you at least say it looks like a human or the blob?
Yeah, because she asked that. If anybody goes on Twitter, there's like a 90-second clip of this one congresswoman asking just that question.
Really?
Yeah. There's that's the one that
she asked. What does it look like?
Yeah, and
I would.
She asked specifics about the biologic, and he says some things, but some things he can't say. Here in open session and closed session, he can talk about it, so on and so forth.
But, probably because they're hung like the Big Dipper, and the guy doesn't want to talk about it.
I was embarrassed. All right, it made me feel bad. My self-image.
I mean, I'm sorry. In the movie Captain Marvel, when they had the alien and it was Nick Fury and the other guy, and all of a sudden they picked up the cloth to look at his face, I laughed out loud. And I said, because I'd probably do the same thing. Yeah. See if there's anything different down there.
I don't remember that.
There's a scene with the guy.
The well-hung alien. Yeah.
He's hanging. Yeah. He's laying on an open table, and they're talking. All of a sudden, they look and they just look to see if nobody's there, and they pick up the blanket.
The scroll. Yeah.
It's just so weird because we could sit here and talk about Alien, or we could talk about Starman, or we could my 200th episode is going to be Alien. Ridley Scott's Alien. So we're not far away. This or that. We can talk about this, or but when the real thing comes around, everybody's just like, didn't see that. That kind of thing. Yeah. Very strange. Very strange.
And what if the real
These
thing?
Are the times we live in.
What if the real thing, and we finally see one, or what it looks like, and what if it's disappointing to everyone? Because everyone has in their minds.
I won't give a shit if they prove that we really have extraterrestrial life. I don't care what it looks like.
That's right.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be the end of Close Encounters. I certainly don't want it to be Independence Day.
It could be a little amoeba or something.
I won't care if it. Honestly, I won't care if it looks like one of them ugly ass blob fishes that we've seen pictures of. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If it's proven that it's an extraterrestrial life, that it doesn't matter what it looks like.
Yeah.
I always thought it would be funny because I read a science fiction story by oh god, I can't remember his name now. The guy who wrote the Martian Chronicles.
Ray
Bradbury.
Bradbury.
Yeah.
He wrote a small short story thing where aliens came and they wanted to talk to the most intelligent race on the planet, and the UN got together and they had world peace because they were communicating for a year. And when they showed up, they said, yes, we picked up one of your people years ago, one of the beings years ago, and they gave us all this information, and we want to meet them. And then when they come to the UN, they're like, that's great, but where's the being? And they said, no, we're the smartest race. And they wheeled in a dolphin.
Yeah, I figured it was.
And that's what I was like.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh
I
my
remember that
God,
story,
that would be hysterical.
Yeah.
Maybe they're showing up and saying, "Oh, what, you? No, we're not looking for
not you, not you, the other one.
We've been talking to this chimp over here for like the past 6 months.
He's got you by about 50 IQ points.
When you lost the hair and came out of the trees, you got stupid.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
I mean, that would be the biggest insult. They said, "Oh no, not you. We're the bees."
Yeah.
I don't know of anybody at this point. I wouldn't be able to argue with them very much.
Yeah,
yep.
And that was the point with when they did The Day the Earth Stood Still with Keanu. She takes him to like a math professor. Remember John Cleese is in it? Yeah. He's in it for like 5 minutes.
Oh, is he really?
Yeah, because
Cleese is in it. Yeah,
they're going to destroy everything, and she's like, "Well, wait a minute, you haven't met like our best people yet." And she just takes him to John Cleese, who's like a physics professor.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Take him to
He's
John
not a politician. Cleese. Yeah, because Kathy Bates is the Secretary of Defense, and all she wants to do is interrogate him and dissect him and like do all this other shit. And he's like, well, wait a minute, I can actually show you someone who's not like that. Let me show you one of our best people. And,
exactly. And it's amazing when you see that.
Yeah,
that's one of the reasons why No Joke Intended with the movie E.T. I love the fact he found the boy.
Yeah,
not an adult, not somebody who would still look at him with wonder.
Yeah,
so to speak. Yeah. And I really did. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, it was the kids.
It was the kids that related to him, or at least reached out to him and didn't want to hurt him.
Well, as long as it's not LV 426 type shit, then I think we're going to be okay.
Yeah.
That would be a problem. That would be a problem.
I tell you, man, it's a sequel to District 10.
Can you imagine if they had some xenomorph level alien locked up?
Have you heard that the new FX Alien series? It's going to be kids.
Right.
Oh God.
It's going to be kids that are getting like that. Could be fucking heavy duty, man. That could be really fucking heavy duty.
Kids that are the aliens or that are getting killed by the aliens?
They're getting killed by the. It's like somehow it's a group. It's like a ship of kids. It's going to be a series, like a Hulu series. That sounds really fucking.
They're on a class trip with their techer.
Something like that.
Something like that. That'll actually be cool.
And it would be as long as you're not like smart ass kids like Stranger Things or anything like that.
I think they are going to be like 10 and 12-year-old kids. That kind of. Well, 5-year-olds wouldn't make any sense.
If they're assholes and they deserve to get killed, but
there was a TV show by the guy who created X-Files. It was called Space Above and Beyond, and it lasted for 1 year. But at the very end, and this is what pissed people off about it, at the very end, because they're like they were exploring and they met an alien race and there was a war getting ready to begin, and at the very end, the aliens were trying to negotiate, or you thought they were trying to negotiate, and you realize they were on the planet Earth first. They're the ones that built the pyramids and everything else, and we came out of the jungles and attacked them. At the end of this first season, they said, we're not here to invade you. We're stopping you from invading the universe.
You're the villain. Shit.
And it was the humans that were the villains, and that was going to be the next season.
Oh, that's cool.
And Fox dropped it because all these people started complaining. But I remember seeing that. I was sitting with my father and Paul. We were both sitting there, and all of a sudden, all three of us went, "No shit!" I mean, because it was such a good spin on what we weren't the heroes.
Yeah,
we were actually the threat.
Yeah.
And I was like, what a cool idea.
One of the best first contact films I've seen probably ever. John, you would probably know this. I don't know about you two down there on the bottom. Would be Arrival.
Yeah.
I
that the
heard
one
of
with-
it. I
Is
never
that the one
saw
with
it.
Charlie
Good
Sheen?
movie.
No, it's Amy Adams and Jeremy Renner,
Mhm.
Forrest Whitaker.
Oh
Mhm.
yeah. I
Oh,
didn't see it, but I've heard of it. Yeah.
we're going to cover, and I think we should
That
get right into
is-
that next week. We should start looking at some of these other first contact movies
Yeah.
that it was on the list that I put
I
on
heard-
there. Or
I
rather,
heard-
it's on Tubi or it's on Pluto TV, so we can all.
I had 3 friends of mine who are actors and 2 friends of mine that are writers literally saw the movie at the same time, and they were passing the cell phone to tell me to go and see it.
Dear
Mm.
God,
They
that
were
movie's
both
good.
like, people were impressed as the writing point of view. People were impressed as the actors, the way the storyline went, because it was
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
chronological. It was
No.
it was wild. It's a wild,
This
wild
is
movie.
a fantastic fucking sci-fi movie.
And she
Okay.
was nominated for an Academy Award for
What
that.
was
for
that
Best
one
Actress.
with I don't know if it was good or bad because I never saw it. What was the one with Sandra Bullock and George Clooney out in space?
Solaris?
And Clooney
No,
died.
no, yeah.
Clooney ended up dying or something.
Mhm.
Yeah, she's an astronaut. It's not an alien
Yeah.
movie. It's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
like she's one of the space shuttle astronauts and like
It
Yeah.
was a survival movie.
everybody. Yeah, it's a Gravity.
Gravity.
Okay,
That's
yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah.
Gravity. That was a good fucking movie. That was a
And
good
there
movie.
there was one of my favorite jokes was a female comedian saying George Clooney does a movie with Sandra Bullock. They're the only 2 people in space, and he's so afraid of commitment he gets himself killed. And I started laughing at that.
This was before he got married. Yeah, after he got
Yeah.
married, you didn't see him in the movies anymore. I guess she's got him staying home or whatever.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Now it's up to Leo.
All right, spoiler alert: he is in the Flash movie.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he is.
Oh, I read about
Well,
that.
she let him out of the house for 30 seconds. So
Yeah, 30 seconds. That's
No,
all
he
he's about
did.
in
He
there.
did some movie with Julia Roberts.
Oh, that's
recently.
right. Remember we
Yeah.
went to Black Adam?
Oh,
and we
That's
got
right.
tickets
we
to the
walked
wrong
into that
movie.
one by
oh,
mistake.
Jesus.
We're getting ready to watch Black Adam, and the fucking trailers are over with, and we're like, fuck, let's get to it, man.
We're like,
And
these
then,
aren't
you know,
comic book trailers.
The movie
Yeah.
starts, and we're just like,
You even went into the wrong like theater room?
no, I actually bought tickets. For some reason, I clicked the wrong movie in the phone on my Fandango
Yeah.
app.
Bought tickets for that
so-
movie.
Yeah, and so
Take it from-
I'm sitting there, and I'm
take it-
like, wait a minute, why the fuck is George? I didn't know George Clooney. We said this to each
Take
other.
it-
I didn't know George Clooney was in Black Adam. The
Yeah.
fucking Julia Roberts. Oh, Jesus Christ. So we like go outside, and like the usher is laughing at me. And then I'm like, man, we can't watch a Julia Roberts movie. We need another ticket. And so we're here to see Black Adam. And then we went to the manager. He laughed at me. But we got tickets. And like the 7
Yeah.
o'clock became the 8 o'clock. And we ended up staying
You
another
go,
hour.
it's funny. You guys go in to see the DC movie Black Adam, and then it feels like you're fucking watching him and Batman and Robin. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, wait a minute. Why is there a wedding in the middle of Black? Because it starts off at a wedding. I'm like, why the
Right.
fuck is there a wedding in Black Adam? You know?
Yeah,
what
I'm
the
like,
fuck is this?
what's going to happen here? Is it-
I blame Fandango, the movie theater where I work at. They stopped
Yeah.
using them.
Oh, really?
Okay.
We
I
started
haven't
booking,
bought a ticket, and I don't know how long. Everything I do is on Fandango now.
we started booking them on our website, and when
Okay.
people call them in from Fandango, Fandango wasn't looking at the website, and all of a sudden they were double booking tickets
Oh wow.
on us. We actually had to go on to see who booked first to see who got the tickets,
Ooh, that's
Jeez.
ugly.
and that's when we're like, oh, and people were pissed.
Mhm.
People were not happy, you know, and we gave them their money back and actually gave them 2 complimentary tickets to come back whenever they want.
Mhm.
But it was like it's like, Christ, Asteroid City was one.
That kind of tanks their evening though.
Yeah.
You know, you have plans to go
believe
see
me.
a movie, and you got your seats picked out because Fandango lets you pick the seats.
This is why they're glad the old guy with the beard and the white hair was working there. Ma'am, I understand it's not the
Mr.
kids'
Congeniality over here.
fault. Let's talk like adults. You know, like one guy was screaming at me last weekend that Oppenheimer was loud. And I'm like, it's about making a bomb.
It's the biggest bomb of all fucking time, you stupid bastard.
And then when,
Yeah,
when
what
a
did you
woman came
expect?
out and said,
I hope you responded just like that, John.
I did. I looked at him, and he got mad because he got up in the face of one of the kids, or one of the
Oh,
younger
geez.
people. I should.
Of course
say.
he did.
I mean,
Yeah.
and it was like it was his
Why are
fault. I'm
people
like,
like that?
it's the sound. It's digital. We have very little control over that. And
Right.
it's
that's
about making the atom bomb. It's not going to be quiet.
Well, what an asshole! I
It's
never
not
heard
funny.
anybody doing that. In a
One woman
movie.
came out. One woman came out and said to me one time this weekend, the Barbie movie was loud, and I looked at her and I said, "Ma'am, no joke intended." And I started pointing at it. Did you turn your hearing aid down? And she did. She had it at full blast. Oh shit! And it was like she couldn't hear people in the lobby because everybody was talking because it was crowded. So she turned. I'm like, "There you go, man." That's why they keep me around, because I'm the guy who looks at everybody and go, "What? Wait. Let Santa Claus talk to the people first."
That's like that.
We got a couple angry customers. Go get John.
Yeah, go
Yeah,
get John,
yeah.
You know.
He'll diffuse the situation. Yeah.
That's like that scene in Eric. You were just watching that Sister Act the other day, where that one nun doesn't have her
Alma.
hearing aid. Alma,
Check your battery.
Bam, bam.
Check your battery.
Oh,
That
okay.
movie
Check
in
your
years.
battery. Yeah, check your battery.
I do that with my daughter because she's 11, so her face is always in the fucking Game Boy or whatever the new Nintendo thing is, and I'll yell for her, and of course she only hears me when I say, "Okay, you're fucking grounded." Oh, that's when it clicks. But I'll now yell at her because she watched it with it. I'll yell, "Alma, check your battery," and then, "Oh, what's up, Dad?" That type of stuff.
Mm.
I have a niece who has a hearing aid, and we didn't know she didn't have 40% hearing, I think, in one ear and a percentage off in her other ear. But we didn't know about it until she was in middle school. My sister used to think she was just dreaming and type deal. And now she has the hearing aids, and she does. She turns the hearing aid down when everybody gets they're all bitching or whatever. And at one point in time, I looked at her. I said, "Did you turn down your hearing aid?" "No, I did not." I went, "Oh, so listen, I got to ask you." And she started turning it up. I said, "You did too." And she's like, "Shh." She turns it down when it gets loud.
I would not wish to lose my hearing, but I got to tell you, sometimes that would be okay, just to turn it all down.
Especially when I do your podcast.
Turn it all
But anyway.
down. Yeah. That goes without saying, of course. So I guess we should talk about this fucking movie.
John's the type of voice that's so great, he's got to have subtitles.
That's it.
Oh, captioning.
Right there.
Get some captioning going. Yep. Some captioning. All right, so 37 minutes in.
You're warmed up now, aren't you?
I'm warmed up. Now I don't feel like talking about the movie. I'm all talked out. I'm like, all right, well, thanks. Good night, everybody.
Good
night.
Next week.
We'll see you next same batch.
The fifth element is boron. Good night, everybody.
Boron.
It's about a bomb.
It's about a bomb. Chemistry class. So we were originally, the plan was to, before this great disclosure that's being largely ignored, or the possibility,
right?
We were here to talk about Luc Besson's The Fifth Element, and I was looking at this yesterday because I knew I had a copy, and I didn't realize I had a steel book, and cool. I had forgotten all about it. It's just sitting here because I never watch it. It's not a movie that I watch very often, but I watched it today. I watched a little bit of it last night. I watched the first hour, and then I kind of went to bed, or I started watching something else. I'm like, I don't want to stay up for 2 hours and watch this. And then I finished the rest of it today. Let's start out with John. Initial thoughts. Did you get a chance to screen it? It's available right now on Pluto TV. Is it Pluto or Tubi?
Tubi.
It's available now.
I watched it. Actually,
or
I watched
not Tubi.
That's the question, man.
That's right.
But the whole I actually watched it again, and I was very
hammered about. Oh, sorry.
Tubi or not Tubi. We're back into Shakespeare.
You're back out of the stream if you keep it up with that. All right, now, please let's.
But I forgot because I hadn't seen it in a few years, but I did catch it several times when it came out, and whenever it was if it was on cable back when we had cable and things like that. But when I saw it, I sat there and went, "Well, this is actually it holds up more than when it came out in 1991." Mike, when you left the stream for a little bit, I had mentioned, I said, I think it's kind of ironic that we're talking about the world being self-absorbed. And in this movie, a lot of the world is self-absorbed. Everybody's in their own little world, and everything else has this, near-death experience is coming down to the planet. And I sat there and was like, it still holds up. the guy coming at the gun in the movie, and to try to get the telegrams coming in, which is a perfect way of like a text message now. Things like that. I was shocked how much I really, really enjoyed it.
26 years ago, this movie dropped. We got a much more youthful Bruce Willis. You got a 20 or 21-year-old Mila Jovovich. You've got Gary Oldman. You've got Tiny Lister. Who does not play a small part. We were just talking about him yesterday and how he actually sort of, evolved into these important parts so much as, he's got that 5-minute segment in The Dark Knight where he becomes the, like the moral compass on the ship. And I mean, to be cast in that role in a Nolan film is not a small thing.
That's right.
He's the guy who throws the detonator off the ship. A lot of people do. A lot of people do. He came a long way before he passed. That's got to be a career highlight. But here, again, he plays the president of the Federation. Ian Holm as the priest. Chris Tucker as Ruby Rod, maybe in the performance of his career.
That's right.
Just fucking firing. He's like in sixth gear the whole time. He took over the whole second half of that movie.
And what's his name? Luke Perry.
Luke Perry's in it.
Luke Perry's in it
from the very beginning.
10 minutes. Ryan, what did you think? Did you get a chance to screen it?
I haven't seen it in a while. I mean, I've seen it enough that I know enough to talk about it. But at first, when I first saw it, I thought it was weird because I wasn't familiar with Luc Besson's other stuff. So I didn't know what else it was a very colorful movie. And I remember the effects being pretty cool. I liked, and they still actually hold up, I think, for the most part. It was an interesting story. It was, it was just kind of weird. I guess the first time I didn't really get into it as much, but after a while it kind of grew on me. It was kind of one of those movies where it was like, it's a little goofy, but after it had its funny parts, had a decent cast. It was, it's, I guess, a lot of Luc Besson's movies are like that. I don't know.
He did The Professional.
He did The Professional, which was great.
With Jean Reno. You never saw The Professional?
Nope, I never saw Leon. But
Gary Oldman's in that too. He's amazing.
I know he's in that.
Natalie Portman. She's about 12.
That was her first movie.
Danny
but
Aiello.
It was cool. I mean, it had its moments. I liked the. I kind of thought Chris Tucker was a little annoying in it, though. His character, I guess, was supposed to be like that. I didn't really know Chris Tucker outside of Friday at that point. So he just kind of irritated me a little bit. But I think that was just his character. So,
I didn't have a problem with Chris Tucker because I was from the TRL Carson Daly type of generation, so I was used to those annoying VJs type of thing. So
I thought the costumes were interesting. It was very unique. It's a very unique style of, and that's what I kind of like about it, is it's not like your regular run-of-the-mill sci-fi movie. It kind of had a Hellboy vibe, I thought. It was kind of a comic booky kind of look to it, I thought, anyway.
I like the fact that you mentioned it was bright. Because a lot of science fiction movies, even before that, little gray, little dreary, but it was very bright colors.
Yeah, it was a very colorful movie. Yeah.
And I love the music too.
Eric.
Honestly, I couldn't tell you how many times I've seen this movie. I have a lot of fun with it. It's one of my favorite Bruce Willis movies. It makes me think of like Die Hard meets Star Wars. You know what I mean? It's like John McClane. He's in over his head. He doesn't want to be where he is, and he's got all this stuff to take care of. I had a crush on Mila Jovovich ever since like Cuffs with Christian Slater and Dazed and Confused. So it was cool seeing like one of my crushes kick a lot of ass. So it was neat seeing her where she is. That's where she is now. She's that femme fatale who can beat the shit out of anyone.
Yes.
beautiful to look at, great special effects, great action, and this is the one where I grew to appreciate like someone like Ian Holm. You know what I mean? Like these background characters.
Yeah.
Like I knew him from Alien and stuff like that, but he's so good in a comedic role. And I haven't really seen him in a lot of comedic roles. So I think it's a really great blend of action, comedy, and sci-fi.
It is. Go ahead, John.
No, go ahead, man. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that I think Besson created like this steampunk sort of sci-fi movie.
Yeah,
It's like an action comedy of sorts.
Yeah,
but it's original. He made something really original, and it's upbeat, and it's funny.
Yep.
Even when it's serious, it's funny. It doesn't take itself seriously at all. The purpose of the movie seems to be about fun. It does have great set designs. Costume designs. Some of the CGI didn't hold up, like where they're reconstructing Mila from the hand. You can see that. Oh, that's a little dated, but that can't be helped. Some of the scenes where they're in like the car chase scene. The taxi chase scene, or where she jumps off the building. I mean, it's just you're like, fuck. This is just really fucking great.
Yeah. The one effect for me that stands out is the when he's buying like the Chinese food, and it's the guy in that boat. It's
the floating restaurant.
The floating restaurant, and it like goes off, and it like I thought that was cool. The little float going off in the distance. That's like one of the images that still sticks with me.
That was one of. Go ahead.
No, and even the commander in the beginning who shot at the planet.
Yeah.
And when he grew up, and when you saw the planet. I was expecting that to be weak, but the more and more they got to it, even with the skull face coming out looking like it was going to eat the ship, I went, that still holds. And it still actually got the hair on the back of my neck to stand up a little bit type deal.
We're talking 1997. Last night John and I were here with Bill talking about Escape from New York and how a lot of the sets didn't hold up necessarily.
Right.
But here, this is clearly better than a lot of things. I mean, the first, in terms of the storytelling, in terms of the pacing, it flew by. I was still laughing. I'd seen it a bunch of times. I own a copy, but it's still getting a laugh out of me. Gary Oldman is a great villain.
And he has a accent, that goofy Southern accent.
What I love about Gary Oldman in this is we all love Gary Oldman, but when he plays a villain, he's this big, intense, mean motherfucker. Like, Ryan, when you've watched The Professional, trust me. What I like about him in this one, he's just a big fucking dork. You know what I mean? He almost chokes to death. He almost chokes to death on like a fucking cherry from his martini type of thing. And Ian Holm, little Ian Holm, saves his life. So that's what I like about him. He's dangerous, but he's just like a buffoon. And to go back to the comedy stuff, a lot of these gags are visual. You have to pay attention. One of my favorite visual gags, Bruce Willis is trying to quit smoking. So every cigarette, if you notice, the filter gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So there's less of a cigarette to smoke. I love when he's talking to the guy with the floating Chinese restaurant. He's got all these bad news. Oh, I'll read your fortune. It'll bring you good luck. He opens it up. Oh, you're fired. Oh,
well, at least I got a free lunch out of it.
Good philosophy.
Now, John, did you recognize the general, the guy who gets killed? That's Baron Munchausen. That's John
Baron
Neville. Munchausen. Yep, that's John Neville. Yeah.
And he was also Alfred with Michael Keaton.
Yeah. No, Michael Gough was Alfred.
Oh, I thought he was. I'm sorry, I thought he was the same.
No. Michael Gough was Alfred.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, and about Gary Oldman, I remember reading. God, I'm officially going to date myself.
Yeah.
There were magazines out called like Premiere Magazine.
Oh yeah, I remember.
Yeah, and Gary Oldman was being interviewed, and when they asked him about where he got the character from The Fifth Element, because it was at that time, he said he based it on Ross Perot.
Wow.
He watched the 1992 elections and based him. He goes, Ross Perot, he was a fascinating character to play. So he said he stole from him. That whole little delivery and everything else he was doing, he said was a variation of Ross Perot. I found that funnier than hell.
No,
Because I had seen the movie before I read the interview, and I went, "Oh shit!" And I went back and saw the movie again.
now I'm just curious here because I was looking up Gary Oldman's filmography to see what his first movie was, and I think it's Sid and Nancy.
I think so too. Yeah.
Yeah, I have never seen that. He played Sid Vicious.
Yeah,
it's supposed to be pretty decent.
Yeah, it's actually a very good movie.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah. And go ahead, Mike.
No, I was going to say. So, I mean, it's kind of a weird premise for a film.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that these aliens have been storing these stones on Earth. There's a great evil that's coming. And so the aliens take them and say, in 300 years, when the evil comes, we will return, bring the stones so you can defend yourselves. And then 300 years after, when they return, these other fucking aliens shoot them, you know, before they can fucking land. And, you know, all that survives is this one fucking hand.
Right.
And so Earth scientists understanding through the help of like Ian Holm, who's like a priest.
I don't want to cut you off, but I love the design of these weird looking aliens in the very beginning. The giant, like, oversized, they look like giant oversized penguins to me, you know, encased in gold. And they even waddle like a penguin. They hardly move and stuff like that. So if you've only seen like the trailer, you've only seen the action, like with Bruce Willis and Mila and Oldman and stuff like that. And then you're watching this opening sequence of Luke Perry being bored and then these fucking golden penguins coming down. You know what I mean? You don't know what you're getting into. And I really like that.
And poor fucking Aziz, who just can't.
More light.
Aziz, light.
Yeah.
You know,
and when they turn on the switch in the spaceship,
they are really great fucking designs.
This was visually, this is a really cool movie.
That's what I mean about the steampunk aspect of things.
That's what I said. It was kind of like. That's what I was saying. It kind of, for me, had a Hellboy vibe because Hellboy, especially the second Hellboy, was kind of had this kind of vibe to it. Yeah,
exactly.
This is, I mean, because this is, well, I mean, I just saw, Sucker Punch. That was another steampunk, steampunk kind of film.
Love that.
That was a lot of fun.
There was really, that other one that I never see because steampunk is a weird genre. It's very, it's not very mainstream, and it kind of goes up and down in waves. I think one of the first real true steampunk movies that I remember coming out in the 90s. I think it was 90s or early 2000s. It was one with Jude Law. It was called Sky Captain.
In the World of Tomorrow.
Yeah.
With Gwyneth Paltrow.
And Angelina Jolie. And for some reason, the resurrected disembodied head of Laurence Olivier. But that was a legit steampunk kind of movie. I like those kind of movies. Some of them fall flat, like in the case of Wild Wild West. That was terrible. Yeah. But that was steampunk, but that was just bad. But I like it kind of fluctuates. It's a weird genre. But it's neat because I like it visually, like this kind of movie. This I think nails it with the steampunk. You know,
and these look like practical effects.
Exactly.
It's probably a today mix. That would all be CGI. They would spend
probably
extra
a mix,
money,
like with Lord of the Rings, where they used practical and CG. I mean, for certain things.
Well, no, I mean these specific alien costumes.
Oh yeah.
Practical effects.
Yeah.
Mila Jovovich really isn't diving off the building. That's obviously, That's all CGI.
I'm pretty sure there's someone in those suits.
Oh yeah. Either that or they're giant puppets. There
must have been awesome fucking storyboards.
Oh yeah.
Storyboards to this. Luc Besson is actually a really good fucking storyteller. He's a really good director. He did the first La Femme Nikita. Anybody's ever seen that?
He is such a creative person. If you just go down a rabbit hole with him. That language that Lilu speaks, he and Mila were in a relationship at the time, and that language that she speaks, he actually created that language, kind of like Elvish has its own language, and whatever Worf is on Klingon. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when she's saying that, she is actually reading what he is intending her to say in that alien language. And I just think that's really
Right.
neat that he was able to do that. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And eventually
I'm
that became
looking
the
at-
pillow talk. You know.
I'm looking at what he's done in terms of directing. Let's see.
I'm trying to
He's
remember.
done-
I always wind up seeing his name.
He did a lot of French movies.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Well, like The
Luc
Professionals,
Besson.
which the first one was French.
Oh, he
Yeah.
did Lucy.
I heard that was good.
I
That was a
didn't
really
see
good
that.
movie. That was
Wait,
a
he
really good
directed
movie.
Taken?
Yeah.
Yep.
He did the first Taken. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He did the Joan of Arc movie with Mila.
The
Yeah, he-
Messenger.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
Messenger.
yeah.
Yeah. Story of Joan
And
of
then he
Arc,
did
Fifth
that
Element,
one-
Leon the Professional.
He did that one that apparently
Cheetah.
wasn't really good, that Valerian and the Thousand Planets or something, with who's
Yeah,
in
The
it?
City of a Thousand Planets. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Clive Owens in that, Rihanna,
Mhm.
Ethan Hawke, a lot of good, a big cast, but I heard it wasn't that good. It's based on like a comic series, I think.
Yeah, it was based on one of those graphic novels.
Yeah.
Series.
Huh.
But
That
no, I was just saying, I keep staring at these robots. I think it's great in the beginning that it was the priest who knew about the life outside, of our little world.
Yeah.
Where everybody else would see this stuff, because I remember, like, the Chariots of the Gods books and the documentaries. Was there aliens that Christ, through Christ's lives, and who built the pyramids? And it would be funny. I'm like, well, maybe the priest would know,
Yeah.
if it
Well,
was something like that.
and you see the civilian reaction from Luke Perry. His first reaction is to pull the gun out.
Yep.
And just start gatting. He ends up like creating a lot more problems.
Shoot first, ask questions later.
That's his response to things. Even though he's a fucking artist, he's got this fucking gun. That he just starts shooting up the place.
Exactly.
And I thought Bruce Willis's blonde hair was an interesting choice because it was very bright yellow in a blonde hair.
I think it was just to look pretty with the rest of the visuals. He's wearing that
exactly.
bright orange T-shirt and stuff like that.
Yeah, Mila Jovovich is in those orange stripes.
Or the white stripes.
The white,
She's got the
she's
orange
with whites
hair.
with the bright orange hair. The color designs for the set designs.
It's neat. It's like every character it reminds me of Dick Tracy, where they consciously used in Dick Tracy, they consciously used the 7 colors that you would be on a newspaper strip. So everybody had like a designated color. It's almost like in this, every character has a designated color.
Look at the diva, the little the singing squid lady or whatever the hell you want to call her. The really cool shade of blue that she is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And look at Chris Tucker's. Every
he's always colorful.
Yeah.
His hair colors was changed. It was boom.
Yeah, he's got that hair that just shoots out like a rhino horn.
And he's got that leopard print thing in the
and he's super flamboyant, but he's like getting all the women.
Exactly.
And by the end of it, he's really, really like he starts out, he's beautiful colors and everything's like in your face, and by the end of it, when they're doing their save the world type of bit, it's literally just like black and red, and he's got like maybe a couple curls in his hair. To me, he made me think of Minnie Mouse, you know what I mean? The way he was dressed. But I just like how he goes from all these extravagant colors to kind of died down by the end of the movie.
It always killed me how he seemed to have contempt for all of his sycophants that just kind of followed him around. He's always smacking him away.
He's
like,
I do that with my wife and daughter. Whenever I'm tired of talking to him, I'll just go bzzz, and I'll walk away. I do.
What killed me is when Bruce Willis is in the hotel and he's like, "Can I get tickets to the show tonight? I'm a really big fan of the diva." She said, "Oh, we got front row tickets for you. Right next to Ruby Rod. Isn't he great? I love him so much. He's so sexy." And you can see like Bruce Willis's face. He can't fucking stand Ruby.
Oh, every time they went to interview him. Every time they went to interview him, it was hysterical. That whole deadpan.
How are you feeling tonight, Corbin? Great.
great.
Yeah.
And you can see Ruby Rod's face. He jacks him up in the one fucking corner.
Mhm.
You're gonna give yourself a hand.
Yeah.
Green, super green. Oh Jesus!
Funny.
I mean, even like his military officers, like that scene where she shows up at his doorstep, and he's got to put the superior officers in like the fridge.
Yeah.
You know, and they're like, Major, there's no room. No, you got to help me. You know, she's going to marry me. All right. We want to help you, but there's nothing that there's going to be room. He just slams him in there. He almost suffocates Ian Home in the bed. You know, because I guess it makes your bed and then wraps the bed in like,
cellophane,
plastic
like
cellophane.
That, Or I love when the army comes in and it's a honeymoon getaway, but the woman they picked for him is like this gigantic like German Swiss Miss looking manly woman type of thing.
Yeah.
He's like,
that's not. I'm
I have
not
to
going.
say, though,
He's like, what are you doing?
He's getting random calls from his mom. You know, she's cussing him out because he won a contest that he didn't even know about, type of thing. So the comedy is so good in this. You know,
it's extremely well written script.
One of my favorite bits. It's towards the end. You know, it's after the Diva concert, and like these. You know, I don't know if they're to me they look like not bulldogs, but the regular aliens that are working for Gary Oldman.
Yeah.
They're shooting up shooting up the joint and everything. And Bruce Willis is trying to get the deaf guy to throw him the gun.
Oh, yeah.
So, this is what made Bruce Willis perfect in this movie, too. Bruce Willis, besides doing action,
he played against.
He was on Moonlighting and everything else. He's got a great sense of timing.
Yes.
And that's and you needed that for this movie.
He's a very underrated comedic actor.
And that's what people forget. He started out in a comedic show. So when Die Hard came around, people were like, the Moonlighting guy? Like, really?
Right.
I mean, so, you know.
Well, he did a lot of remember, he also did like Look Who's Talking, Blind Date with Kim Basinger. He did all those cheesy 80s stuff until he finally got Die Hard.
What ended up happening? No, he went straight from Look Who's Talking came afterwards.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, came after Die Hard.
There was this show in the 80s. He was a detective. It was like a comedy drama called Moonlighting.
That's what we're saying.
But Eric's like we were saying, Eric's younger than us, so he doesn't always know the chronology. But I mean, we were blown away watching this guy on TV.
That's the show.
John's about my age.
Yeah.
And we were just like, who the fuck is this guy?
He would turn and talk to the camera and let the audience know that you're just watching a show.
Yeah.
That's the stuff that they were doing, and it was a riot. Yeah. I mean, when there was a chase scene where the villain was running away, and he's with Sybil Shepherd, and he goes, "We got to get him." He goes, "That's right." And he looks at the camera, "Cue the chase music, boys," and the music starts playing. I mean, but it was stuff like that you had to work that fast and everything else, and it showed in this movie. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they would have said, "Hey, Bruce, look at the camera and say something."
Yeah.
I mean, his deadpan looks. The same thing that you were talking about, Eric, when the villains were the troglodytes here were shooting up the diva and everything else. And Bruce, one of my favorite lines in this movie to this day, I still use when I talk to people, is when he walks in and shoots the leader in the head and said, "Anybody else want to negotiate?"
Mm-hmm.
That floors me.
Yeah,
because then they go right to the president, going, "Oh yeah, your man is so quiet."
I just checked. Moonlighting is not available to stream anywhere. I guess they're still fighting licensing rights for the music.
I think so. Oh yeah, the music.
There was a lot of R&B music.
Yeah, kind of like with like the Wonder Years and stuff like that.
Or like Miami Vice. Miami Vice had tons of music in it. But no, I was going to say earlier, Ian Holm is one of those actors I just love to watch, and he just pops up and sometimes he'll pop up in the most random movie, and it's like, oh shit, it's Ian Holm. I mean, and he was one of those, like, you know, because I think there's some of those British actors who wouldn't stoop to being in certain types of movies that he's been in. You know, there's kind of this in with the English cinema. There's in these actors that there's a bit of a snobbery there.
Mhm.
And, you wouldn't see guys like, I don't know who off the top of my head, maybe you wouldn't see Ian McKellen pre-X-Men doing this kind of stuff.
It's I used to say with British actors, there was always two categories because I like a lot of the British acting.
Oh, yeah.
But those who would do Doctor Who and those who wouldn't.
Yeah, exactly.
Look at the people who were in the TV show Doctor Who, it was the same thing.
Yeah.
They'll do science fiction and they know how to do, especially if you have the Shakespearean background.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
To bring the imagination to life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And especially in this movie, because even though there's some practical effects, there was also other ones that were CGI.
And
I'm sorry, that's a great shot.
What I really love is it's not just Chris Tucker right there. I love his little manservant or butt kisser, like mimicking his pose behind him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Diesel?
How was I?
No,
It was wonderful.
Yeah. It's so green. Green like what? Oh, any kind of green you want.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny because I think
for them.
the only thing I had known Chris Tucker for before this was Friday.
Yeah,
and
same here.
He has a short but very memorable part in Jackie Brown.
Yes, he does.
If you get to see Jackie Brown, he's Beaumont, one of Samuel L. Jackson's cronies, his flunkies.
He's the one that ends up in the trunk, right?
Yeah. And so it's one of those. It's basically a cameo, like a guest star, one of those guest star roles that Tarantino likes to do. But I haven't seen much of Chris Tucker lately. I think he's doing another movie with Jackie Chan.
Yeah, they're doing another movie together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that first movie was kind of like the peak of his career.
Pretty much.
He did that first Rush Hour, and then it didn't.
He went. No joke intended. He went and found religion.
Yeah, he did a couple like after like the third Rush Hour. I think he did a couple dramas. Then he went and he joined a church, and he left Hollywood for a long time.
Yeah,
and that's why he wouldn't. That's a lot of times why he wouldn't do like movies like Friday or anything like that.
Yeah, it says here he did a movie in 2016, and then he didn't do anything else until this year. He's in Air, which I want to see.
Oh, is he?
Yeah,
the Ben Affleck movie. Yeah,
I want to see that. So he hasn't acted since 2016.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
No, I'm sure he has enough money to live quietly. Wherever he wants.
He was one of those guys. Like, what happened to Chris Tucker? Because he just kind of dropped off He kind of dropped out.
Well, I mean, a lot of his content was pretty fucking racy.
Yeah,
he wasn't. He wasn't.
He
found religion and said, "I can't say those words anymore."
Yeah. And a lot of people, if they know Chris Tucker from this, or as a stoner from Friday, or like the really vulgar shit, if he's found religion, he doesn't want to do that type of stuff anymore. People who grew up with him probably aren't going to go see. I hate to say it, the movies that he would now want to
mature,
do.
The mature stuff.
Yeah.
He would lose his demographic.
But he's fucking great in this one.
Oh yes. Yes.
I love the scene where they're doing their little things with the stone blocks, and he thinks his is broken because he can't figure out how to fucking do it.
I wouldn't give him smoking if I knew it would help.
Yeah.
I kind of got the maybe I'm just interpreting the character all wrong, but I kind of got the feeling that he was channeling Prince in some of his like.
Oh, I think so. I think there was a little bit of Prince thrown in there with the flamboyancy.
Yeah. I was thinking Prince and a little bit of Little Richard, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely Little Richard. Yeah.
Type deal. But absolutely. Especially with the Kane microphone. That's the other thing that got me too. He had that.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
That Kane bit. I'm like, God damn! Because when I saw it today, I'm like, God damn! He's doing a good job in this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He really went for it.
He seemed like he was having fun. You know.
Yeah. I think everybody was having fun in this. I mean, there's that one scene where Bruce Willis almost gets robbed by that crackhead.
Yes.
Who's got like the window pane like on top of his head. You know, and you can see him. He's just like, trying not to laugh the whole time.
Yeah.
It really is. It's just, it's a one of a kind movie.
It's so great. Put your hands in the circles. Are you a human? No, I am a meat popsicle. Or I love how all these people are trying to pretend to be his wife. As they're trying to get on the ship and stuff like that.
Everybody's Corbin Dallas. Yeah, everybody's Corbin Dallas. Yeah. Corbin Dallas. Yeah, he's like the fourth Corbin Dallas by the time.
And all this stuff is so random. Like the ticket taker lady, like she's apologizing for the garbage. Like, why in the fuck is there a big garbage pile behind, in this, lack of a better term, airport? It doesn't have to be explained. It helps with a visual gag, and then it's dropped, and we move on to the next bit. You know what I mean? That's what I love about this movie.
I mean, even with the camera on the cockroach.
The one guy.
Oh man, when Tiny Lister smacks that cockroach with the shoe, holy shit!
Yeah, and then the one guy yells because of the microphone.
But they could have just had it on the cockroach and gotten information and walked up. No, they did. They took it right to a funny conclusion, and it worked for the movie. It wasn't like it was forced in.
I would have loved to have just been a fly on the wall in like the writer's room. You know what I mean? Just to see how they were able to just pull these ideas out of thin air, put them on paper, and then make them work. You know what I mean? Or I would have loved to have seen like the initial table read. You know what I mean? Between everybody.
Yeah, really.
We were saying yesterday that Escape from New York was like smoking bad weed. And then you wake up the next day and you're like, what the fuck was I thinking? This, on the other hand, is like an acid trip. It's like some kind of a fucking acid trip. You're just like, holy shit, this is fucking spacey as fuck. But it never becomes incoherent.
Right.
And that's a testimony to great writing, great performances, and great direction. I mean, it's a really good fucking movie.
I mean, I love the fact they kept on saying that it was a hero, this perfect being, and they all kept saying he.
Yeah.
Before they took him in, they brought the hand into the cryogenic booth or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Regeneration booth. He, and all of a sudden, it's definitely not a man.
And then what I love is they're just so enamored. They're just standing there all googly eyes. She's perfect. You know what I mean? That type of stuff. It's just, and I do like how it's not like too like it's a serious threat. We're all gonna die with this. Asteroid or whatever the hell it is. But I love how it's just so simply called like the great evil or the big evil or something like that. It's not taken too serious when you realize that that's what the threat is called. You know what I mean?
And I love that the fifth element was love.
Mm-hmm.
Fifth element was love. Yeah, fire, air, earth, water. What's the fifth element? Which is kind of what she was. We've talked about everybody but Mila Jovovich, who's actually the central character in the story, and she's really fucking good.
Oh, she's so good in that.
She plays it
for not having any dialogue, really. I mean, except her made-up dialogue.
But it's a physical kind of performance. It's a really physical performance in which she can switch from being strong. She's strong and vulnerable at the same time.
Man.
And you can see why Bruce Willis falls in love with her almost instantly, in the cab.
Yeah, when she comes through the roof of the cab.
Yeah, she's got that Babe in the Woods thing going on, and you're just like, fuck, man, this is a really solid fucking performance.
She's so good. Like she goes, like you said, kick ass to being real vulnerable. I love when she's learning our history. She's busy having fun, eating fucking fried chicken and learning all about our history. But then once she learns about war, you know what I mean? The way she just shows the pain in her face.
Yeah.
And then, when she's dying, they're trying to get her to, I don't know, sacrifice herself, however you want to say it, at the end. She's given up. She's like, what's the point? Why?
Yeah.
And you believe that with her. And again, what I really love is the editing. I love how Luc Besson, to me, perfectly, seamlessly edits her beating the shit out of those aliens to the diva singing her song.
Right.
You know what I mean? I love how, she's kicking ass. The diva is just, going all for it on the stage. And then they both end, throwing their hands up in the air like a thank you pose. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's just so well done.
I mean, and to go back to what Michael was saying about the cab scene, because it was the introduction of the two characters. And when she was going off about going through the ceiling and Bruce Willis's face, again, trying not to laugh, you know, and enjoying this. But then when all of a sudden the police showed up, and you just see her from this very powerful, entertaining being to like help me,
Yeah,
you know,
and he's so I can't, you know, I can't. I love it.
The looks on their face about what they're talking about, and Bruce Willis, do I do this? Don't I? And then, God damn it, you know, and that is such an underrated scene, but it really sets up those two characters. You want to see them together, and
it's great. I love after he drops her off at Ian Holmes' on the couch, and he sneaks a kiss, and then just out of nowhere you hear this. She got the gun right on his fucking temple, and she's cussing him out in whatever the fuck that language is. And then Ian Holm kind of brushes him out. Ian Holm is so hilarious in this movie, and then he says, "What does yada yada yada?" She mean? He's like, not without my permission. Yeah, that's what I thought it meant. You know?
Okay.
Right. I mean, it was. Yeah, it was really, really well done because the characters blended with each other so well.
Yes.
We haven't seen Ian Holm do a lot of comedy.
It's like seeing Alan Rickman do comedy. You know what I
mean? It's not nearly as good a movie. This is far better movie, but it's like when I saw Horror Express, and I was like, did Peter Cushing just tell a joke?
Right.
Like, I was like, what the fuck was this? You know, and he did, you know, surely enough, you know, and yeah, I mean, you know, it's just a fucking great movie.
Yeah, because I only knew Ian from Alien and as Bilbo. But then when when he's given, you know, if the right actor gets the right script, he can pull off a great performance, and he's hilarious in this. Like I said with Alan Rickman, he is this prim, proper, kind of stuffy guy. You know what I mean? But when he's in Galaxy Quest,
right,
or something like even Dogma.
Yeah, Dogma.
Yeah, I was just going to say
very
Dogma.
good.
He's funny in that. Yeah, because you don't expect Alan Rickman to be in a movie like Dogma.
Correct.
I mean, it's
Rickman did a movie called January Man, which was the movie that came right out after Die Hard, and it went nowhere. It was written by the same guy who wrote Moonlight with Cher and Nicholas Cage. That one, yeah. He played an artist in New York, and he was funnier than hell.
Alan Rickman. No, Alan Rickman. He was hilarious as the Sheriff of Nottingham. Right. He was even as Snape. He brings some comedy to that too. You know.
I will eat your entrails. With a spoon.
I'm gonna cut your heart out with a spoon. Yeah.
But it was the British actors have a way of doing that. Again, they also all do Shakespeare. Yeah. I mean, you want to see the guy that's in this movie? Check him out in Henry V with Kenneth Branagh.
Oh, I have that one. Yeah, he plays
he's one of the, I just watched that recently. He does a scene with Kenneth Branagh where he talks about his father.
Yeah.
After the Battle of Agincourt. Yeah. And Kenneth Branagh's crying. He goes, and I will remind you of this because that is who you are. But he was brilliant. He was just smaller role, but man, he ate it up. They picked the right people for this movie.
Yeah, I mean, I own Henry V, and I just watched it for the first time earlier this year, and I forgot he was in that. He plays Fluellen, the Welsh soldier. Yeah.
Welsh soldier, and
he was in the Mel Gibson Hamlet. He was Polonius.
Yeah, Polonius. Yeah, it's Polonius.
I prefer the Branagh Hamlet to the Mel Gibson Hamlet. Yeah. That's just me. But, you know.
So, is there anything? I mean, we're going at about an hour 20, although I understand, you know, we definitely got a late start. But is there anything about this movie that you guys wanted to get into that we have not addressed?
Not really. I mean... No, we pretty much said everything. We kind of really didn't touch too much on Gary Oldman, but there really isn't too much.
Yeah, no, he's not terribly. Yeah,
right, because he is the villain, but like I said, he's just kind of like a buffoon, and that's why I do think that if you're only used to seeing him, you know, in The Professional or even something like, you know, Nolan's Batman series or you know, the man, you know. True Romance, you know, watch him in True Romance with A Professional, and then watch him in this, and that shows how much of a chameleon Oldman is.
And I'll even go to say he wasn't. I'll even go to say that he wasn't even a buffoon. Like when the guy couldn't get on the ship as Corbin Dallas, and he presses the button and kills him.
Oh, he's very dangerous, but
Very
he's still
dangerous,
he's still
devious.
He's still kind of a dork. You know what I mean?
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Dork, I'll say yes.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
my personal favorite is the flamethrower. I mean, when he was doing the bit with the gun,
yes,
and showing everybody that whole routine of what it's for, I was howling at that. And of course, the netting is always time favorite.
My favorite is the one with Ian Holm, where he's like condescending to Holm about how he creates chaos and trying to intimidate him. Holmes just looking at him choke. Really? So where's the human to pat you? Where's the robot to pat you on the back?
Yep.
You know, where's the helper? You need humanity. You know, he's just trying to kind of teach him something a little bit, and then just give him that pat and that stupid fucking cherry that comes flying out of his throat.
But even when it came out of his throat, he turned around and said, "You know, I'll let you go for this.
Yeah,
I'll let you go for now."
Yep.
Yeah,
you know, and
he goes, you saved my life, and in return, I'll spare yours. For now.
Like, damn, man.
That's Gary Oldman now.
That's Gary Oldman, man. I think it's because we accept Gary Oldman being as good as he is that, you know, like that's one of the many reasons why I want to see Oppenheimer.
Yeah,
he's Harry Truman.
He's Truman.
Harry Truman, yeah. He's kind of a son of a bitch, too.
Yeah.
He's kind of a son of a bitch. Yeah, Truman's kind of a son of a bitch. And that's based on a true meeting.
Yeah.
Truman had to be. Yeah.
Oppenheimer met Truman, and they didn't hit it off. They didn't really hit it off.
But we're so used to Gary Oldman being that good. I mean, shit.
Yeah.
Even when he did Friends, he was on like 3 shows of one in the end seasons, and Friends playing a drunk British actor in a movie. Geez. And he was a goddamn riot, you know.
Mm-hmm. I think one of my favorite ones is when he plays Churchill for The Darkest Hour. That's just fucking phenomenal.
I heard that was a good movie. Or that was really good.
Is. It's
and of
really,
course,
really
Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, you can't go wrong with that.
He still breaks me up when I see that movie.
Isn't he in The Pope of Greenwich Village?
Yep.
Yeah, The Pope of Greenwich Village.
He has a small part in that. He has because Mickey Rourke and Eric Roberts are in that.
Yeah, and he's in. He plays the butthole in Hannibal.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The pigs at the end. Yeah. He's in the wheelchair.
He plays Mason Verger. Hannibal gets him to cut his own face off.
That Eric said too.
Oh, he's an asshole in True Romance too.
Oh God.
Sid and Nancy was his second film, 86.
Okay.
He did one movie in 82, and then he didn't do anything until 86, and he was Sid Vicious. And then he just took off from there. JFK, one of Mike's favorites, Bram Stoker's.
He played fucking
Oswald.
Oswald, I forgot he played Oswald.
Romeo was bleeding.
I'm just a pansy.
Murder in the First. I know Mike's not a big fan, but Bram Stoker's Dracula. One of my go-to action movies. Sunday afternoon action movie, Air Force One. He's the one that takes Air Force One hostage. You know what I mean?
This one, yeah.
You look at his career and say, "Shit, we've been impressed with him for so long."
30 years. 30 years.
He was apparently in. He was in the Christmas Carol. I think it was the motion capture. I think that was the Zemeckis one.
That was the Zemeckis, the Jim Carrey one.
Okay.
Yeah, who does he play?
Says he plays Tiny Tim, Bob Cratchit, and Jacob Marley.
Yeah.
And then it's Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. That was a great one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That Planet of the Apes trilogy, that newest one, it's so good.
He's in the last one?
He's in the second one.
He's in the second one.
Yes.
Oh. I barely remember that.
He was the villain in the second one, right?
Was he?
Technically, yeah, but then he comes around.
Yeah.
But he was also fucking Commissioner Gordon.
Oh, yeah.
That's it, man.
And he did a great job as Commissioner Gordon. And that's not a joke. That could easily be, if you look at the Keaton one, and it's nothing against the actor that played Commissioner Gordon.
Pat Hingle.
But there wasn't that much for him to do.
No.
I mean, Gary.
Even when what's his name played him in Justice League, J.K. Simmons, there wasn't much for him to do either.
He was good though. He was good as
but I think
Gordon.
There's a big.
They showed him as like besides the Batman bio story. The first
it was also the evolution of Commissioner Gordon.
There's a big difference though between Pat Hingle and Gary Oldman though.
Yeah.
But again though, it's it's in my mind, Gary Oldman is Commissioner Gordon. I mean, it's just because he's so good in the part, and it's
And
another
he said
testament
Bruce
to
Wayne in such a
the
way
Nolan
that I
movies.
believed him.
Yeah.
Bruce Wayne finally admitted who he was, and he went, "Bruce Wayne." I mean, it wasn't like it never dawned on him.
Yeah.
I just watched The Dark Knight. I just watched The Dark Knight the other day, and when they had the Lamborghini crash, it's like, it's Mr. Wayne, isn't it? He's never met him, you know.
Never
met him before. You don't watch a lot. Why? You know what's going on? Should I go to the hospital? He's like, you don't watch a lot of news, do you, Mr. Wayne?
Actually, the other Commissioner Gordon that was decent was in Gotham.
Yes.
Tom
Pertwee.
Yeah. The main character, the actor, I forget his name.
Yeah, the guy who played Jim Gordon. Yeah.
Sean Pertwee. We love him on this channel.
No, Sean Pertwee was Alfred.
It was Alfred.
Right.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
He was awesome, Alfred.
Yeah,
man.
He was a really good Alfred.
Yeah.
I like that show. I wouldn't mind picking up that whole collection.
I've got it all added to my wish list on Amazon. I'm just waiting for the price to go down. I loved it.
Good overall.
Yeah.
It was good at vacillating between being dead serious and then just going to like fucking ridiculous comedy.
Some of the choices, some of the character choices they made were a little wonky, like the Solomon Grundy stuff. But that's
I like that.
I liked it. I liked it because in my opinion, it never went like camp like Adam West.
Yeah.
No, I know.
You got to remember though. You got to look at the rogues gallery. You know, you got to get the favorites in, but who does that leave?
Well,
you got to have the supernatural type of weirdos. You know, Solomon Grundy is basically a fucking zombie. So you got
and the way that they contractually couldn't use the Joker, like that was weird. They weren't allowed to use.
They weren't allowed to call him the Joker, but
right.
What that actor did.
You knew who he was.
Oh, he's great. Cameron Monaghan was fabulous, and the guys who played Riddler and Penguin.
Oh yeah, they were great.
That
one scene where fucking Riddler sends those two bum rappers to fucking rap where to meet, and fucking Penguin's just looking at him, and what was it? Zast is like, I think we should torture him. Just get him to fucking tell you where he is right now.
That guy who played Victor Zsasz is hilarious in that.
I love how they made him a hitman instead of this just weird psychotic. You know what I mean? Like he is in the comics. I enjoyed a lot of the changes they did to the characters.
Yeah, and I like that last episode where Penguin and Riddler were closer to the comic interpretation.
Yeah, they got old and fat. They got old and fat, you know?
Yeah.
They just saw that guy swinging. They're like, fuck that. You know, we're going back home. We're not starting anything.
We'll do this tomorrow. We'll start again tomorrow.
Exactly.
Cool. All right, so I think we're in the point of the stream where we rate the movie. This movie has a rating system that goes from 0 to 5 and up by half. So 0, 0.5, 1, 1.5, all the way to 5. So 0, for example, would be I'd rather sneeze for an hour straight than watch this movie again, all the way to 5.
Because of the pollen, but
all the way to 5, which is, this is cinema. This is the whole point I, talk about movies in the first place. Number 1, John K. Alvarez, the Fifth Element himself. How would you rate Luc Besson's The Fifth Element?
I got to be honest. I was still debating it all the way to today, but the more and more I was talking about it now with everybody and getting the energetic vibe from everybody, I'd give it a 5.
Okay.
I'll give it a 5,
Going to 5. Going to 5. No problem. All right. The Ryan Daly. What do you got for us? Luc Besson's The Fifth Element.
I'm going to give it, just because I haven't seen it in a long time, I'm going to give it a 4. But everything holds up still. Like I said, the visuals still stick out. That's what stands out for me in this movie are the visuals, the set design, the costumes, the originality of it and stuff like that. So a solid 4.
Okay. All right. Eric, what do you got for us?
I'm going to give it a 4.5, 4.5. The only reason why is if this is your first watch, it might take a little getting used to Chris Tucker. Mm-hmm. I enjoyed him more like the second time I watched him. So that's it. But other than that, like Brian said, it's a beautiful movie to look at. The visuals and the costumes and the set.
Yeah.
But just use this stream as an example. We weren't going point by point by point by point.
No.
We're enjoying
that anymore. Yeah.
Right, but my point is, like, with this movie, we were just able to pick one scene out of thin air and talk about it for a good 5 minutes. Then another scene and another scene. The acting, everything.
Yep.
It's 4.5.
Yep.
Well deserved.
4.5. All right, I am going to go with a 4.5. Like Eric, I'm going to go with 4.5. It's not quite cinema, but it's really fucking good.
Really
I
fun.
think there was a small thing in the middle maybe where I felt it lagged, but I can't even remember where it was. Because at that point, Chris Tucker steps in and sort of takes over the second half of the movie, as far as I'm concerned. He stole every scene. He stole every scene with everybody that he was in there, which basically was with Bruce Willis. But they did a great job of playing off of each other.
Right.
Especially when he's commentating during the shooting, as everything's happening.
Yeah.
He keeps yelling for Corbin to help him.
I love he's squealing like a little girl. And then after everything is said and done and it's quiet, he's still squealing. He's like a teapot going off. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Oh, and then even when the sycophants find him again, he still slaps him away, I think.
Yeah.
It's not that bad. It hasn't been that bad.
I mean, and even at the very, very, very end, when the guy cheers and goes, I'm leaving.
Yeah.
I mean, I was howling at that.
Why is everybody else yelling? What's the problem with you? I'm out of here.
Yeah.
Just save the fucking world, and that's all you care about.
I think really one of his best roles.
Yep.
Phenomenal fucking shit. All right. Anybody got anything to plug?
No.
Not really. I mean, I'm talking shitty shark movies that I'm regretting about on my YouTube channel, but I'm not going to plug that. However,
bastard, man. Damn.
Hey, people like to watch them, like my reviews of them for some fucking reason. You suffer for your art.
You'd have to guarantee me like 10,000 views to fucking get me to like fucking review these things. I'm like,
I've wasted worse time with my life doing worse things. You know what I mean? But oh God, no, I'm not spending money on that. I'll stream it. But what I will say is, starting next month, it's going to be nothing but good movies for a long fucking time that I'm talking about. I'm jumping in the Rambo franchise. I'm jumping in the Rocky franchise. And based on Mike's recommendation, I'm actually going to check out the Mission Impossible franchise because I've only seen the first one, and that was back in high school. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
They are all available on Pluto TV right now.
Yeah, I have to check them out.
All 6 Mission Impossible movies are available. I was lucky. I ended up picking up the box set. So I just got to finish Fallout, which I saw for the first time right before I went to see number 7. And they're all fucking great. It's 4 through 6 are just the fucking shit. I mean, I've never seen a series where every movie gets fucking better. Maybe Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Because it's got that many movies in it, that kind of thing. It's not a trilogy, it's more than that.
I might just splurge and just do like buy what you got off of Amazon type of thing. But at least me and you, Mike, we're I can't speak for the other two boys, but we're big fans of Tom Cruise. And just the fact that he, at his age, is still doing his own stunt work for these movies, my respect for him has grown more and more. There's a meme out there, and it's Samuel L. Jackson in front of a green screen. And it says, digital effects nowadays, and then it shows him and he's in like Peter Parker's, room or something like that. And then it says, okay, and it says CGI in Marvel movies, and then it cuts to meanwhile on the newest Mission Impossible set, and it's Tom Cruise hanging onto a fucking train. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. So, yeah. That train scene. If you ever get to number 7, I would advise going to the theater to see it. 2 hours and like 50 minutes. Of just some batshit fucking stunts by him. And that ending train scene was originally supposed to be 30 minutes long.
Right.
It's just fucking batshit. It's right up there with what we saw with John Wick.
Seen him break his ankle jumping from building to building.
Yeah, the Burj Khalifa in Dubai. Yeah, and then just get up and just keep fucking running with a broken ankle.
He didn't sell it one bit until they said cut.
When the movie, I can't remember which number it was, where he's climbing the glass building.
Yeah, that's number 4.
Number 4.
Rogue Nation. Is that Rogue Nation?
I think so.
There's a great interview with Matt Damon, of all people. and he was talking about. They said about him doing, the Bourne series, and he goes, and Matt Damon goes, "No, I actually really love the Mission Impossible series." And he said Tom Cruise came to him and said, "Who was the stunt guy on the first Jason Bourne?" And Tom Cruise gave it to his wine. He goes, "Well, I want to," and he described it, and I kind of looked at him, going, "What?" He goes, "Yeah, I want to climb this glass building," and later on, when he goes, he met Tom Cruise, and he said, "Did the guy help you?" And he, "Oh no, I told him what I wanted to do," and he said, "It can't be done." And Matt Damon said, "Well, what'd you do?" And he goes, "Well, I said the hell with him," and went and found another guy.
Yeah.
He was all for it. They were. He just waited until he found the people who was agreeing with him, because this is what he wanted to do.
He's like 60 years old.
He's the man that did a video thank you for Top Gun Maverick making all that money by jumping out of a plane.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
by
hanging
himself
onto the side of that fucking biplane, talking while the plane is fucking spinning, and just hanging on the wing of the fucking plane and just standing there talking thousands of feet in the fucking air. Guy's a fucking maniac.
There was the last movie. They had a picture of him running, and they said, "This is Tom Cruise," and I forget what age they said. And he goes, "He was the same age as," and then they showed Wilford Brimley in Cocoon.
Oh, Jesus
They're both
Christ.
the same age doing these movies.
Wilford Brimley was like middle-aged at 14.
Yeah, he was born 60 years old.
Yeah, he's like fucking
Wilford
Todd.
Brimley.
Exactly.
Or as he's credited in Thing, a Wilford Brimley.
Yeah,
So.
Wilford Brimley.
All right, for this show, we'll be back next week, and I'm going to be covering some other things on the main channel. This is going to the backup channel, and it's streaming on Twitter and Twitch. So you'll have an opportunity to see these just in any number of places. But next week, I want to come back. I want to get you guys back, if you're up for it, with some more sci-fi fantasy. I want to do 10 Cloverfield Lane.
Yep.
Which is available on fucking Pluto TV with John Goodman. That's a seriously fucking great movie.
Yeah.
And then I want to do Arrival, which is also available on Pluto TV.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll get in the chat and talk about who's available for when and see about setting it up. I'd like to get Bill back. I think Wednesday is his band practice or something like that. So we'll see if I get... Huh?
He's in a band?
Yeah, he's in a band. Any number of them.
I know, I'm kidding.
All right, so my thanks to The Fifth Element, John K. Alvarez, the Ryan Daly, and Eric from Hey Internet. Eric here. And we will see you all in the next video. And take care, everybody. Have a good
Cheers.